First of all, we will see the basic architecture of AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery. An EC2 instance is running inside the source subnet and all the users' traffic are directed towards this source server. Continuous data replication is going on in staging area of this source server. In event of disaster, let this server goes down. In that case, there will be another subnet called recovery subnet. We will launch an EC2 instance from staging subnet to recovery subnet and redirect all the users' traffic to this recovery server. Hello, welcome to Concepts of Cloud. In this video, we will discuss about AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery and also see a demo how to set up it. Elastic Disaster Recovery minimizes the downtime and the data loss with fast and reliable recovery of on-premise and cloud-based applications. It lets us perform non-disruptive tests to confirm that implementation is complete. Before we proceed and see the actual architecture of AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery, we should know some common terms which we will be using in this video. Source server. It is the server which we are going to make disaster ready. We will install AWS replication agent on this server. Replication server. It is a server which EDR service launch for replication purpose into some another subnet called staging subnet. Conversion server. During launch process, AWS automatically spins this server. Launching process includes the change to the drivers, networks, and the OS license so that instance boots naturally on AWS. Conversion server helps in conversion and then automatically terminates. Recovery server. This is the server which has all the data of the source server and configuration as per our set template. In event of disaster, user traffic will be redirected to this server only. Failover. When some disaster occurs, all the users' traffic will be redirected to towards the recovery server. This scenario is called failover. And when disaster goes away and our source server is up and ready for serving, users' traffic again redirected to this source server. This is called failback. Now let us see AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery architecture. This is the architecture of AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery. This side we have source server running and this side we have staging subnet and recovery subnets. Source server are continuously replicating its data to replication servers. And it is also communicating with DRS, that is AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery Service. For this we need to open this port number 443. And for data replication, we need to open port 1500. To install this AWS replication agent on source server, we need to create an IAM user with AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery Agent installation policy attached to it. In case when we need to failback from recovery subnet to again source server, we need to create another IAM user with policy AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery Failback Agent installation attached to it. When this will be attached to this server, an client ISO file will be installed on this and we can fail back again from recovery subnet to source server. Let us now go to our AWS console and we will try to implement this architecture which we have seen just now. We have one disclaimer that if you are performing this lab along with me, then please watch this video till end, as we need to delete several resources at the end, failing which we might end up getting huge bill. I am in AWS console now and already there is a source server which is running into my console. This is a server on which we will install the replication agent and perform the AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery failover testing. So before we log in into this server and install the replication agent, we have to set up AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery replication setting. So search for AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery. Open in new tab. In another tab, we will open VPC and IAM also. That will help us finding our subnets. VPC and IAM. Now, coming to this AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery console, here we can see pricing. It is $0.028 per hour. It means AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery service is not free service. Now we will set replication settings. Click on that. We have 4 steps here. As we already discussed, we will have one staging area. So this is the setting we are doing. In staging area, this is the VPC ID. So suppose in this region, in North Virginia region, you have other VPC also. So you can do that cross replication also, means from one VPC to another VPC or from one region to another region. But be informed that currently failback is not possible in cross region. It means if you are trying to fail back from one region to another region, that is not possible. Failover is possible, but failback is not possible. So we have one subnet with subnet ID ending at 921. Let's see if we are selecting this. So just to remember name, I will go to VPC console and go to subnets 921. It means it is US East 1F. Let's say I want our replication subnet to be US East 1B. So its ID is 359. I will select that 359. It means our staging subnet is US East 1B. Also we can check our source server is, its subnet ID is FFD, that is US East 1A, FFD US East 1A. Our source server is running in US East 1A. We have set our replication server to this subnet, means 359, that is US East 1B. Instance type, I will go with default one, that is t3.small. You can change it also. You have several options here. You can change that also. Now click on next. Here we have to select volumes. So what kind of volume you want, whether it is faster or lower cost throughput, whatever you select according to your source server. If source server is IO intensive, then you should select faster volume, because if you will select lower cost throughput, let's say, then in source server changes will be fast, and in replication server those changes will be reflect slow at slower rate, because our volume itself is slow. So we should choose volumes according to our source server. So I will go with default one, but I should select GP2. It is a bit cheaper than GP3. Encryption is default one, let it be. Or if you have encryption key, then you can select custom also. Now security group, as we already discussed, there should be some specific rule which should be allowed. So if you want to create those security group, then you can create and attach here, or else you can just mark this box. It will itself create that security group for it. Click on next. Now for data routing and throttling, as we already discussed, from source server to replication server, there will be data transfer going on. So at what speed those data transfer will be, this is what we decide in this box. If we mark this, so here you could see Its speed is 10,000 in Mbps, means 10,000 Mbps per second. If you want to increase this, you can increase this, but I will go with default for this demo right now. Similarly, if you have to fulfill some compliance, then you can choose this so that replication can be done in VPN and direct connect also, and there it will be more secure. Already data is being encrypted, and even then you are using private IP, that will give your data two-layer security. One is already encryption and other one will be private. But for this demo, we will go with public IP only. Point in time policy. Elastic disaster recovery always creates snapshot. So in this section, we will decide how long those snapshots will be kept in AWS. Here it is 7. It means for 7 days, one snapshot will be kept. And after 7 days, that snapshot, older snapshot will already be discarded. So let's say today disaster occurred and this was chosen as 7. So we can choose yesterday data also to again fail over or fail back, or day before yesterday data also. But if we are selecting here one only and then some disaster occur, then we may lose our data, because at time of disaster only we will lose our data and we will have only one snapshot at that time. The more day we choose, the higher rate we have to pay. Currently I will go with default one. Click on next. Now this is the review page. Whatever settings we have selected, this is the review for that. So if you want to make any changes, you can click on edit and change that settings. So click on create default. Okay, you can see default replication setting created. Now in left side, we have source server, recovery instance, recovery job history, settings. Again, in settings, you can change all those things, whatever we have set just now. So it is not like we can set those settings only one time. In source server, currently we don't have anything here. But once we start replicating this source server, means our source server, I have given this name source server for namesake only, for reference only. So once we start replicating this server will start reflecting here also with some different name. Whatever elastic disaster recovery give, with that name it will start reflecting here. Now we are ready with elastic disaster recovery setting. We have one source server already, but to install replication agent on this source server, we need one IAM user with some specific role. So let us create that IAM user now. I have already opened IAM console. I will navigate to that. Click on users, add user. For this demo, I am giving name as EDR demo. This user should have programmatic access. So select this one. Click on next permissions. Attach existing policy directly and search for AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery Agent Installation Policy. You can select others also, but for installation purpose, this policy is important. So currently I will go with this one only. Next tags. In review page, we will review everything and then we will click on create user. We will download these credentials also. Click on download. Okay. Now to install replication agent on this server, we already have IAM user. We already have set up Elastic Disaster Recovery setting also. Now log in into this server and install that agent. Click on connect. I am into the server now. Login as root sudo -i. Now you could see I have logged in as root. Currently we have 0 files or folder here. Now we will download that agent. So to download that agent, here we have documentation page. Click on that. It will open in new tab. Here we have source server, adding source server. Since it is Linux machine, so I will choose Linux only. So installation instruction, Linux. Now here you could see this is the link from which we can download. In this link we have to replace region with our original region. So it is already giving us for US East 1 and we also are in US East 1A. So we will choose this one only. But I have already copied this in my document file. So I will select this one. But here it is 2. So let me edit that quickly. US East 1. Now it is changed. I am copying it now. Copied. I came to console. Paste now. Enter. Now you can see we have one file here. This file. This file is already downloaded to our server. Now we need to install it. To install, again when you will check that documentation page, we have one command sudo python 3 AWS replication installer init.py. So we have to run this command. Select this command. Paste it here. Enter. Now we have to give region name. So our region is US East 1. Enter. Now access key ID. Same access key ID it is asking what we have created just now. So this is the ID we created just now. We have downloaded it also, but right now it is already opened, so I will copy from here only. Access key ID copied. Pasted here. Enter. Now secret access key. Now you can notice here we are installing this agent as that our IAM user. That IAM user has permissions to install this agent. Now show key, copy and paste it here. Now it is asking us what all disk you want to replicate. If you want to replicate all the disk, press enter. I am hitting enter now. Now it is downloading the replication agent onto the server. We will wait until this installs. You can see the following is the source server ID and the replication agent was successfully installed. Now when you go to AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery console, earlier there was no server, now here it is reflecting now. Its IP is 39.85 and same IP you will get here also, its private IP. Let me show you that also. 39.85. It means this source server is replicating into EDR now, Elastic Disaster Recovery. And when you click on this, you can see its status. It is in initial sync. Here we can see replication progress, that is 0%. Since we have only one disk, so and that is of 8 GB only, so it is saying here 0 of 8 GB. Replication initiation steps you can see, boot replication server, and at same time when you go to your EC2 console instances, here you can see one server, Elastic Disaster Recovery Replication Server. Earlier there was only one server, that is source server, but it is replication server now. Just to summarize again what we did, we had one source server. After the initial setting of Elastic Disaster Recovery in this console, we performed this setting. After that setting, we created one IAM user with some specific policy. And once we were good with IAM user, we logged into this source server and there we installed the replication agent. After installation finished, we could see replication server in source server list of Elastic Disaster Recovery. And it initiated one replication server which we can see in EC2 console with name AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery Replication Server. And when we will check its subnet, it should be technically 359, whatever we chose that time, and this subnet belongs to US East 1B, this one 359, and this is what we chose that time. It is also 359 US East 1B. So till now our source server is ready, our replication server is ready. Now there will be continuous data replication will be going on between source server to this replication server. And right now we chose same VPC. We could have chosen another VPC also. We could have chosen another region also. Means let's say in Ohio region or Oregon region, we could have chosen that also. But for failback, cross region failback is not possible. But failback is different thing. We will see it later. That is not part of this demo. So let us check its status now. It is saying that initial sync, initiating. Here you can see progress also. Now start data transfer. We will wait till this finishes. Then we will proceed to launch one drill. Now while syncing completes, let us check these tabs also. What are all these tabs are? Server info. This is the information of the server. Source server. This is the information of the source server. Here we have its IP and everything. In tags we have tags. Disk setting we have What all disks are there in this source server? We can see here. Replication setting we have. So as we said in settings tab, same thing we can see here. Subnet is there. What type of replication server will be there, that is also here. Same thing whatever we said while doing it for first time, we can see here. Then we have launch setting. Launch setting is something, let's say when this server replication is in sync and we want to initiate a drill or initiate a recovery, we have two options: initiate drill, initiate recovery. So that will launch one instance, no? So what kind of instance will be there, we are setting here in launch setting. In launch setting we have option instance type right sizing. If we are selecting it on, then AWS itself will decide what type of EC2 instance will be launched. All the other settings will be overridden then. Means whatever you are setting here launch template, that will be overridden because it is on. And so if you want to give your own EC2 type, means that in drill task or in a recovery task, if you want to initiate your own EC2 instance of your own type, then you have to put it as off. And here in launch template you could see right now it is c5.large. I will not change this also right now. c5.large means whenever I initiate a drill or initiate a recovery, it will launch one new instance, and that new instance will be of type c5.large. Here right now it is saying public IP is no. So if you want it to have public IP, you should select it, edit it and make it as yes. So I am making it as yes. I clicked on that. Be very careful that in storage part don't make any change. If you will make any change, there will be problem in drill or recovery. So be aware of that. Here you could see instance type. Let's say we are changing it. Since C5 is costly, let's say we are changing it T2. So here we have option T2 also, one virtual CPU, 2 GB memory. We will terminate this instance soon, so let it be. Means let us go with c5.large only. If you want to provide any elastic IP also, here you can provide elastic IP also. But all things let it default only. Since we are doing it for first time, let it be default only. Okay, so I will click on cancel. I have not made any change on the template. So launch setting is also done. Means we are aware of now recovery dashboard, server import tags, disk settings, replication setting, launch setting. Now we will check the status, how much it is completed. Now it is saying replication progress 100%. Click on source server now. It is still showing initial sync. Here it should be ready, then only we can proceed. While it is coming to ready state, I want to make you remember that when we select this instance and initiate a drill or recovery, it will launch one conversion instance first. So in instance console, here we will see one conversion instance, and that conversion instance will come up and automatically terminate itself, and then again it will launch one EC2 instance as per our launch template what we just saw. So we will wait till this come in ready state. Let me refresh this page also. Right now in recovery instance, we don't have any instance because we have not initiated any drill or recovery. That is why we can't see any instance here. Now it is saying here creating snapshot. So it will create snapshot, and that snapshot will be kept as per our day we have selected, means that time we have selected 7, no? So it will keep for 7 days. In replication setting, here we have 7 snapshot retention day. So that snapshot, whatever it is creating just now, it will be kept for 7 days. Let that finish also. Click on source server again, and we will wait for that. Now we could see our source server is in ready state. It means it is ready for recovery. Data replication status is also saying healthy. Now let's say some disaster occur. Till now, till now our continuous data replication is going on between this source server and this replication server, which is also reflecting in this EC2 console, and same is here also. Till now continuous data replication is there. Now let's say some disaster occur and this source server, and thus that disaster, I am assuming that this subnet goes down, so this source server will also go down. In that case, from elastic disaster recovery console, we will initiate a recovery job, and let's say we are initiating a drill. Okay, so once we initiate a drill, it should launch one EC2 instance, and in which region it will launch, we can check that from this EC2 launch template. We have not set launch template here. Here you can see subnet is nothing, so we should set subnet here also. Click on that. Here if you want that instance which will be launched by ADR to have any specific security group, you can attach that also. Here we have option to choose subnet. Now our source server is US East 1A, our replication server is US East 1B. Let's say we want our recovery server or failback server to be in 1F, US East 1F. So we will select that. Okay, we selected subnet. Here we have option select existing security group. So if you are going with this, then this server which will be launched by ADR will have same security group which our source server is having. So we will select default only, means let it be. Rest of the things we are not changing anything. Be careful that we do not change anything in this storage part. This is critical. If we change anything, there will be problem in initiating a drill or recovery. Click on create template version. Successfully modified. Now this source server we have, which is in ready state, select this one, and if you want to test, you can initiate a drill, otherwise you can initiate recovery also. But since it is costing me every hour, and it is already more than half an hour since I am doing this demonstration, so I will directly initiate a recovery But when once I initiate a recovery, then that recovery server won't have replication from source server, because that it is kind of cutover. But if we initiate a drill, then there will won't be any cutover. We can still initiate a recovery from this replication server. So let us select recovery only right now. Once we initiate this, now it is asking for this snapshot, from which snapshot you want to create. Now since we have created this launch template today only, so we are having only 2 snapshot right now, but it will have maximum 7 snapshot or 7 days snapshot, not 7 snapshot to be precise. It will be have 7 days snapshot. So we will select this one. This is a recent one, and initiate a recovery. Now I will quickly take you here, recovery job history, and here we have job history now. Start time is a few seconds ago. Now check here in EC2 console. Here you can see conversion server. We have not launched this. Elastic Disaster Recovery itself has launched this, and it will itself be terminated also. We will click on this job ID. Here you can see job started, starting taking snapshot, finishing taking snapshot, conversion started. We will wait until this finishes. Once it is finished, you can see one recovery server here in recovery instances. Meanwhile, I will take you to EC2 console. I will refresh it again. See, it is running now, initializing. Now you could see this conversion server is itself stopping now. It is stopped now. Once its job is done, it has stopped itself. Now our actual recovery server should be there. So we will again go to disaster recovery console, and we will click on recovery instance. Till now we don't have any recovery instance, so we can't see that. And same here in EC2 console also, we can't see any of the recovery instance till now. So conversion server is completely stopped now. We don't have any recovery instance till now. I will keep changing the tabs between EC2 instance and Elastic Disaster Recovery. Now here again you can see one server which is c5.lat, which is in stopping state. It is our recovery server. It will launch itself. We will wait for a minute, it will launch itself. And that will reflect here also in recovery instances. Still we don't have any recovery server here. Since we initiated a recovery drill, here we have here we can see pending, which is for 5 minutes ago. Again refresh this page. It is still in stopping state. Once it is up, we can see that same instance here also in recovery instance page. Right now we don't have anything. You can keep checking job history also. Click on this. Here we can see conversion started and conversion ended. Start launching recovery instance, and here it has mentioned IP also, 39.85, same IP 39.85. We will wait. Now, as per our job history, we can see successfully launched recovery instance and job ended. So when I checked in EC2 console, here we can see our AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery. Sorry, this is conversion server and this is our recovery server. So this is the IP. So we have one recovery server now. We have one source server now. To summarize, we had one source server which was replicated through Elastic Disaster Recovery into some another subnet, and when some disaster occurred, we initiated a drill and we have one recovery server now. This is our recovery server. Now whatever we can do, let's say all users come to this source server which is affected due to disaster. Now we will redirect all the users to this server. And this process of redirecting is called failover. Now users are coming to this, and since this is in another subnet, it is not affected by disaster, so user won't face any issue. Now let's say your source subnet is up now, source server is up now, disaster went away, now your source server is up now, but since users were coming to this recovery server, all the current data will be there in this recovery server. So again we need to transfer all the data to our source server so that user will again come to this source server, and that process of transferring data and transferring user again to this source server is called failback. To failback, again we need to install one agent on this source server. Once we install that agent, there will be handshaking and data transfer will start from this recovery server to source server, and after that we can again route our users to our original source server. But since again failback consists of data transfer, it will incur me charges. So in this demo I won't show you the failback process. We completed till failover. To failback we just have to install one ISO agent on this source server, and then we are good. And that is also a case, means we don't need to be failback on this original source server only. We can create another source server and we can failback on that source server also, or we can rely on this recovery server and we will go with this recovery server only. All the users will keep coming here and we can rely on this recovery server permanently. So till failover we are good now. Now we will clean up the resources, as these resources will incur us charges, so we will clean up the resources. To clean up the resources, first of all we will go to this recovery server, choose this recovery server, actions, click on disconnect from AWS, disconnect. Once it is disconnected, delete recovery instance, delete. Now here we can delete this server also, or we will do it together at one time. First let us clear resources here. Now in source server, since still replication is going on, select this server, action, disconnect from AWS. As soon as we click on disconnect from AWS, that replication agent which we installed on source servers, that will be uninstalled and replication will also stop. Click on that, disconnect. Disconnected now. Now delete this server. Till now we deleted our replication server, we deleted our recovery server. We don't have any recovery server now. We don't have any source server now. Now coming to EC2 console, we have our original source server which I created for this demonstration, so I will delete that also. Before that we will delete this replication server. Select this one, instance state, terminate instance. Click on terminate. Now this is our recovery server. We will terminate this also. Terminate instance. At last, this is the source server. Why it is not terminated yet? Yeah, this is our source server which I created for the instance demonstration. I am terminating this also. Terminate. Now, Elastic Disaster Recovery creates snapshot also. So we need to delete snapshot. We have here 2 snapshot. So select this snapshot, actions, delete snapshot. There are other snapshots also which Elastic Disaster Recovery itself has created. We will select everyone and delete. Delete. So all snapshots also gone now. Volumes. This is the volume AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery has created. So we have to delete all the volumes also. And if you could see, one is already deleting and 1 is in available state. So select all these 3 volumes. Actions, delete volume. Type delete. Now this volume is already in deleting state. It will take some time, but it will delete itself. Now coming to this EC2 dashboard, we can see we have 0 instance running now, 0 snapshot now, 1 volume which is in deleting state. So we don't have to worry about. So we are good now. We have cleaned up the resources. In AWS Elastic Disaster also, we should not have any resources here. So we have deleted everything. We have disconnected and deleted everything. So we are good now. That is all about this video. If you liked this video, please hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel. We'll see you in another video. Till then, take care and keep learning.